friends, welcome back to my channel. Sass here. I'm here to discuss Inmate to Roommate. Child, these folks are for real. Okay. Alright, since these folks are for real, let's talk about Quinn, Tiffany, and Ariel. Now, Ariel done made herself at home. Ariel has made herself at home down there at Tiffany's house. So we have Quinn. Quinn packing up, child, and she is livid, as she should be, because apparently Tiffany was her homegirl, her best friend, as she calls it, for 10 years. I don't see a best friend. You mean to tell me your homegirl been staying with you for how long? Has a job, been paying rent, helping with the bills, and you're going to kick her out just so you can move in an inmate, ex-inmate, who you knew back in the day from the clubbing days. There's some information you leaving out, Tiffany, because I don't understand. So Quinn, she's packing up her stuff. And she's like, listen, you don't even know her. I can't believe this. I can't believe I'm leaving. So you can bring in this stranger with a criminal history. So Tiffany, she just said now. Now Ariel, she got a lot to say. She running off at the mouth. And so Quinn done looked at Ariel and said, F you. Ariel, I don't think you want Quinn. Okay? I don't think you need to get on Quinn's bad side, because, honey, Quinn look like she'll knock your head off and laugh while doing it. So Quinn, she gets her bags, and she was like, oh, you going to help me with my bag? Because you was helping her with her bags. Tiffany, she still ain't saying nothing. So Quinn, she gets her bag, and she is cussing, she is fussing, and she is out the door, and she slams the door. But then there's Ariel. Again, like I said, Ariel done made herself at home, child. Now, we know Tiffany is she has an online clothing boutique, which you have to take care of said clothing because you want to sell them to people. Honey, Ariel don't care nothing about that child. She is got Tiffany's clothes just thrown all over the place. The shoes just thrown all over the place. Tiffany was like, what are you doing? Why are you touching my stuff? This is my online boutique stuff. You can't be touching them. You can't be throwing them around. I don't want your greasy little dirty fingers all over these clothes. This is my business. Of course, Ariel, she didn't care. She was like, oh, well. I didn't think it was a big deal. Hey, Tiffany, did Quinn touch that stuff? Did Quinn throw them things all around the room? I bet not. And so then, here is Ariel wanting to use Tiffany's laptop. Now, we know Ariel likes to get into laptops and hack people's accounts. And so here is Tiffany hesitant to let Ariel use her laptop. She definitely ain't going to give her the password. Hey, Tiffany, were you hesitant in letting Quinn use your laptop? Honey, I bet you Quinn didn't even pay that laptop any mind. Why you hesitant, Tiffany? You done brought this woman into your house and you done kicked out your home girl. Why you hesitant? You shouldn't be. Because, see, when you move someone in your place, you should feel, trust between them two. There shouldn't be no worries. But you worried, ain't you? You worried. Tell you who ain't worried. Ariel. Y'all, I got a feeling this is going to be a mess. Let's move on. Let's talk about the House of Horrors. Let's talk about the House of Horrors. Let's talk about Bill, Hard Bang Shauna, and Scrushed Up Face Ball. Listen, okay? have went into detail about how this house is just a mess and how these grown adults are acting. I just can't believe they're real. So we know that Bill, they keep a ledger of his toilet paper. We know that Bill can't use the refrigerator. We know that Bill can't use the ice machine. Now, I had a perfect idea to use ice trays. But then y'all was in the comments talking about, well, how he gonna use the ice tray, Sass, when he can't use the refrigerator? Didn't nobody say he can go up in that kitchen, fill up them ice trays, and put it in the freezer? I guess I was wrong in thinking it, child. So it's time for them to have a talk. And there is Sharna and there is Mark, and they're discussing how rebellious Bill is. He's not following the rules. He's not working. He's not contributing. And they are just shocked by this. A man that you carried on a friendship with through letters in prison. You're shocked by his behavior when he gets out. These are grown people with children. Where are your kids at? Why are your kids, what they think about this? So Bill, he got him a bombshell. Bill said, hey, guess what, y'all? Look what I got. I got me a travel pass. Honey, he was excited. What was it, 14, 15 days? Honey, Bill said, I get the hell up out this whorehouse. Get away from you all, wardens. I get to eat all the ice I want. I get to eat all the meat I want. I get to use all the toilet paper I want. And y'all can't say a mother freaking thing. So there's Sharna and Mark just looking at him. They're like, where are you going to see your girlfriend? See, Sharna is still hung up on this girlfriend. And did you clock what she said, y'all? She said, while he was in prison, he said that he would like a woman like me, a good Christian woman. He wanted to date someone like me. She is telling her husband this. And there's Mark. So Sharna's going on about the girlfriend, and then Sharna dropped some information. Sharna said that the girlfriend has been keeping up Bill financially. That the girlfriend been sending him money and all kinds of things. Really? Because see, Sharna and Mark has been keeping a tab of everything they done bought for Bill. Over $2,000. So what is the girlfriend sending? Bill, it's hard out here for a pimp. Hey! Come on. It's hard out here for a pimp. Honey, Bill is getting things inside the house and outside. And he got the neighbor cooking meat for him. Bill keeps talking about prison mentality and how it feels like being in Sharna's house is still in prison. Bill, sounds like to me you still got that prison mentality. You out here hustling. So Bill says that he's going to see his girlfriend. Everybody needs a break. It's been tension. It's been drama. And he's sick of them. They sick of you too, Bill. They sick of you too. So then Bill starts running off at the mouth about the rules and the regulations and how he's treated and how he's being treated unfairly. He started being real disrespectful in that kitchen. Bill, the rules are ridiculous. And yes, there should be a little bit leeway there. But you are still a grown man with no job, fresh out of prison, living in these people's homes. And that's just that on that. Since your girlfriend is sending you all this money, why don't she send you money for an apartment? You are still living in these people's house. And you're standing there and you were disrespectful. So he's talking about, you know, how he's been treated and this and that. And so there's Shauna, there's Mark, Bill talking about that they were friends, and him and Shauna being friends, and how they're not friends anymore, how she's acting differently. And so Mark is standing there and just listening and taking it. And then after he had his little tantrum, Bill did, he said, check your wife, Mark. Mark should have elbowed him right dead in the throat. Now, I'm not one for violence. But you're going to stand there and you're going to talk to my wife like that? And then you're going to tell me to check my wife? You're going to go back to that room with a swollen lip. And that's just that on that. Bill would get up out my house. And that's just it. What normal person would put up with that? And then in other cases, Bill putting up with Shauna and Mark. The house of horror. So later on, we see Bill packing up. Shauna, she comes up in the room, and Bill said, no, don't be coming up in this room. He said, you've been coming up in here for what? And you've been going by my door at night. You be trying to look in on me at night. I know you want me. So Bill has insinuated that Shauna is being inappropriate. That Shauna wants Bill's goodies. That Shauna is jealous that Bill has a whole girlfriend. I knew that was coming. Bill said that Shauna be dressing inappropriately. That Shauna be wearing some negligee. First of all, I think that's a whole lie. I can't even see Shauna in a negligee. Y'all think Shauna walking around there with her boobs out and her ass up? Shauna said, don't let these bangs fool ya. Shauna said, don't you let them. My goodies, touch my goodies, hide that. Shauna, don't let me find out that you've been tiptoeing by Bill's door. Of course, Shauna says that that's a lie. Shauna says that he's been accusing me of inappropriate things since he came here. See, that's another reason he got to go. He's been accusing Shauna of peeping in on him, wearing that negligee. Child, what a mess. Bill says that Shauna wants him because Shauna and Mark's marriage is a total disaster, which I do believe. They don't even sleep in the same room. They have kids. Y'all, where these kids at? Ain't no way I have my mom and daddy up in that house with that man. I guess they somewhere in Bible study. So Bill, he's fussing at Shauna. They're going back and forth, and Bill says that he got his, he's gonna go see his girlfriend, child. Let's move on. Child, this ain't gonna take long. Let's talk about Sandra, Kyle, and Nick. Is that their names? It sure is. So Nick, remember he had that whole conversation with Sandra about what type of vehicle he wants. He gonna talk about a Lexus. Well, guess what? He done went and bought him a Lexus. Now I got a question. How do you buy a vehicle with no insurance and no license and drive it off of the lot? Even if it is a mom and pop dealership. Don't don't you still have to have those two things? See, here in these parts, in these neck of the woods where I live, in the great state of Virginia, you can't even leave the dealership, the parking lot, without insurance, without a license. They're going to look at you and laugh. But where they live, in Missouri, Indiana, is that how y'all roll? It wasn't a Lexus. That was a nice vehicle. Black, matted out, black rims. Oh, it was nice. And so here's Kyle. Kyle said, I know you did not go and buy this flashy vehicle so the cops can peep you 2 miles away. You out here just flashing yourself around. You don't have insurance. You don't have a license. And here you are getting a flashy vehicle. When the cops see you, they going to say, warning, warning, warning. That's what they going to see. They going to make a reason to stop you. But oh no, you go on out there, you get a Lexus. But see, this is my thing, because I was like, how he afford that? But then Nick says that he had some cryptocurrency that he cashed in. I have no idea what that meant. I don't know nothing about cryptocurrency, and I don't know nothing about Bitcoin. So, how he cashed in, how he made it, I don't know. Good for him, I guess. It was enough for him to put down on the vehicle. When you got that money out, did you take out rent money? Did you take out money for lights? Did you take out money for groceries? See, that's what I would have said if I was Kyle. So here's Kyle trying to talk some sense in, but honey, I wouldn't have talked no sense. So he got the vehicle now. If he want to ride around with no insurance and no license, and he gets pulled over and go back to jail, oh well, a hard head makes a soft towel. He a grown man. If he wants to act a fool and act silly, let him. You can only talk but so much. I wouldn't exert that much energy. But Kyle said he's looking out for him and it was dumb and he shouldn't have done it, whatever. Kyle, go inside with your wife. The boy done bought it now. Y'all let me know what state y'all live in. And can y'all just drive off of a dealership with no insurance and no license? I ain't heard of such. Let's move on. Last and definitely least, let's talk about it, y'all. Let's talk about DQ, Dr. Henry, and that uncle. Now, I was wondering why that uncle was just so passionate. He was a little hard in the chest at Dr. Henry, and I was like, why is he coming so hard for him? But then we figure out why. Oh, we figure out why real quick. Now, as you know, DQ is staying with Dr. Henry. DQ has a homeboy in prison, his brother, as he calls it. And his homeboy will be getting out of prison soon. Where they live, two felons cannot meet up, hang out together. That is a rule. And that is a rule of his parole and probation. That's just a fact. If you break those rules, you go back to prison. There is a chance of that. He knows this. DQ knows this. But DQ says he don't care about that. He's going to meet his homeboy. This is not a blood relative. This is not his real brother. This is not his cousin. This is not his uncle. This is not his daddy. This ain't his grandfather. This is a homeboy. And can I just say this? How do we know that the homeboy feels the same way about DQ? Who says that the homeboy want to risk his freedom for DQ? The homeboy may get out of prison and say, listen, we ain't meeting up. I ain't trying to go back to prison. I catch you on an email. And let's not forget, even the homeboy's mother said it was a terrible idea. So him and Dr. Henry got into it. And so DQ says that, listen, if I bring my homeboy here to your house, let's just break this down. That's Dr. Henry's house. Why would you bring him to that man's house when you know that Dr. Henry is trying to help you, keep you on a good path, and you're going to bring that boy to your house, into his house? Forget about the rules. What about the respect aspect of it? That's showing Dr. Henry you don't respect him. So he says, DQ says, you gonna call the cops on me? Dr. Henry says, now I don't want to call the cops on you, but you put me in that position, I will call the cops on you. All hell broke loose. How dare you? How dare you? I look to you as a father figure. How dare you call the cops on me? You know how that is as a black man to get the cops called on him? Now see, DQ done used that several times about Dr. Henry being white, about him being black, about Dr. Henry was spoon-fed growing up, and the only spoon that he had nothing on it. DQ claims that he done had mayonnaise sandwiches his whole life. Poor. Maybe. I don't doubt that. But the reason why I'm bringing all this up is something interesting happened between the conversation between the uncle and Dr. Henry that just blows that out of the water. So as we know, DQ, he threw a temper tantrum and threw the vase with the flowers on the ground. Didn't apologize for that. And he left walking mad. Well, he ended up staying at the uncle's house. Now, the uncle brought him back to pick up some things. And Dr. Henry was like, what's up? Hey, how are you? You know, I was worried about you. What's going on? You stayed at your uncle's house? Everything cool with the PO? DQ said, yeah. So the uncle said, we're going to have a conversation. So Dr. Henry was like, about what? About DQ being upset, leaving, walking? So the uncle said, yes. And the uncle said, you going to call the cops on him? You going to call the cops on him? He's staying in your house? He looks up to you? He thinks of you as a father figure? And you're going to call the cops? You don't do that to a black guy. You don't do that to a black person. You just don't do that. That's foul. And so Dr. Henry was talking, trying to explain, and the uncle was cutting him off, and the uncle used one of the worst analogies that he could have used, and he really thought he was doing something. The uncle was out of line, and he was wrong, loud and wrong. In this instance, in this case, I'm with Dr. Henry all day. So the uncle says, let's say that they tell you you can't see your mother, that your mother is dying on her sick bed, and if you go see your mother, you're going to go to prison. We're going to call the cops. First of all, Unc, that's not his mother. That's DQ's homeboy. No blood relation. So you using mother as an example was totally ridiculous. Of course someone is gonna go see their mother if she's dying. And his homeboy isn't dying either. That was ridiculous, and you look like a fool. So Dr. Henry is trying to explain himself. The uncle is like, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. So Dr. Henry, the uncle, they're both getting frustrated with each other. Nothing is getting accomplished. And then Dr. Henry says, shut up. I said, Dr. Henry said, shut up and let me finish. It was absolutely ridiculous. And there's DQ just sitting there. Just sitting there. So then, after all that fussing, going back and forth, screaming, yelling, the uncle said something real fascinating, didn't he? The uncle says, you know what? I asked him to come stay with me. I asked him to stay with me, his uncle, but guess what? He chose you. And I said, there it is. There it is. That's why the uncle is so mad. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. It's all coming to light. DQ, you had a chance to stay with your uncle, but you chose to stay with Dr. Henry. Why? Why? Oh, well, because Dr. Henry said, I believe in the first episode, y'all correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Didn't Dr. Henry say that the reason why DQ is staying there, not only because he wants to help him, it's because DQ did not have a safe place to go? Isn't that what Dr. Henry said? Your Honor! That's what Dr. Henry said. But DQ didn't choose you, Unc. He chose the white man. Now, you can't go really toe-to-toe with a psychiatrist. And Dr. Henry starts slicing off limbs at the uncle. Dr. Henry said, is that why you mad? Is that why you mad? Because he chose me and not you. That's why you mad, honey. The uncle couldn't say nothing. Honey, his face was good and cracked. Because you didn't get chosen. This man, this hoarder, was chosen over his family. And you just can't wait to get DQ back at your house. So here you are, fussing and raising your voice. If I was Dr. Henry, I would have told him to get up out my backyard. Take your feet to the street. But Dr. Henry was like, oh well. So here is Unc. That's it. I don't want to talk about it. That's it. Go get your stuff. He's coming with me. He's coming with me. Dr. Henry said, okay. Is that what the PO said? Is that what's going to happen? Okay. So now we have DQ packing up his stuff, and he's going to stay with his uncle. Terrible mistake. I think it's a terrible, terrible mistake. I understand wanting and helping and standing by your family. I get that. But when your family is wrong, they're wrong. And DQ was wrong in this. DQ objective in life is to stay out of prison, be mature, get a job. That's what DQ needs to do. But instead, this whole argument was over his homeboy and whether he could see him. So stupid. You would rather risk all this for someone getting out of prison, and here you as an uncle is defending it? All because of his family. Oh, lost your mind. So when DQ meets up with his homeboy, and it just so happened that his PO finds out about it, and he breaks his parole, one or both of them goes back to prison. What are you going to say then, Uncle? Whose fault was it then? Oh, that's right. It's someone else's fault. Why bring that to your doorstep? I don't know, y'all. What y'all think? Y'all think DQ should have stayed with the uncle? Or do you think DQ should have stayed with Dr. Henry? Y'all know how I feel. That's it, y'all. Y'all know what to do. Don't forget to hit that like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, friends,